Hi there and welcome to the Real Estate Joint Venture Club. I'm going to do my best to keep this presentation short and concise so that you have the most value possible. Please visit our Real Estate Joint Venture Club. My name's Odin. I'll be your host for today. Grab pen and paper. You have a 300% better chance of remembering what I'm going to be saying here by writing it down, putting it into your cellular memory. What you're wanting to do is you're obviously wanting to make money either in joint ventures, make more money in your business, or make more money in buying and selling your own real estate. And this is what the idea of this presentation is about. My goal ultimately is to do a deal with you. So the way I see it is I'm giving you this value, this education, so that you can get trained quicker so that I can do a deal with you quicker. And if somebody else in the club happens to do a deal with you, because we can't, because I'm in the middle of doing a deal, then you're going to be prepared. You're going to know what to do, what not to do, and ideally you've had some good coaching behind you and you make some good decisions. So let's move on. There's an important disclaimer here. I'm going to leave this onto the screen for a second. You can just kind of go through that. It's basically saying that it's a disclaimer. It's saying that you take this information and go and talk to your trusted advisors always. Always talk to your trusted advisors. I'm giving you ideas that I have practiced myself in business. I've built a real estate portfolio. I have joint venture partners. And what I'm looking for more joint venture partners. I would like for you to be one of these JV partners. Let's just continue on. I'm looking for a good fit. I'm looking for people that are of like mind, that have a good attitude, and are interested in following the step-by-step process. I'll be going through the step-by-step process in doing joint ventures, specifically on the niche of real estate. The idea is that joint ventures can be done in any business. What I've chosen, I've chosen a niche that I'm interested in, a business area that I'm interested in. I like real estate. I always wanted to know more about it and get involved in it. I got involved in it. I managed to get involved in a number of deals through joint venture partnerships. I did a lot of financing and purchasing myself, and I've gone through the process. I know what I would do differently, and I know what I am doing differently and doing better. I want to share this information with you. We're going to go through what joint ventures are and what they're not. We're going to talk about joint venture opportunities being all around us, because they are everywhere. You just have to think about how we can help each other. And we're going to get access to a buying group. The idea behind everything I'm talking about here is you become part of one of the 3 mastermind groups we've got. So we've got a multifamily mastermind group, we've got a rent-to-own mastermind group, and then what we do is we have a buy, fix, and sell mastermind group. We also have a joint venture agreement mastermind group. There's so much, guys. Basically, if you can think of a way that you want to build a business, and as long as we got about 3, 4, 5 of us all coming together, and we all understand each other's financing binders and what we can contribute, we can have a lot of success. There's so many things we can do with our RSPs, our TFSAs. There's so many ways that you can secure your money to make sure that it's secure. There's so much to do in regards to profit sharing. It excites me. It excites me. Let's move on. Joint ventures. There are business agreements where the parties agree to develop for a finite time. It could be, typically I do 5 years. Sometimes it could be a little bit quicker depending on our exit strategy, if we're going to be using executive rentals, or because we keep it if we're doing executive rentals, obviously, for a longer period of time. Sometimes it's just regular rental, and what we do is try to get a rent to own in there. So typically what we do is we start a new bank account. There's a new entity. What we do is we have a joint venture agreement, and I'll be going through a joint venture agreement in another video. I'll be going through a number of different examples of them, and what I've found is the difference. I've had the privilege of being able to go through a number of joint ventures and have my joint venture partners go to their lawyers and have their lawyers give their opinions on it. And then what we did is we went back and forth, my lawyer and their lawyer, and we made the necessary changes so that we could have an agreement that we run our enterprise on. And now that agreement can certainly change. It can be amended. It can be you can assign it. There's so many things that we can do as joint ventures. You can register them on the mortgage. You can, on title. You can take a joint venture as long as it's put in there and make it into a mortgage, balloon payment mortgage. There's really, it's so exciting, the possibilities and the potentials. The goal is not how many deals are there. It's just that how many deals can you do, and do you have enough time to do them? And hence, I'm hoping that this information will get out to you, and you're going to go out and you're going to want to learn how to do one of these deals, and then go out and share that and do that again and again and again. So let's say I have a property that I want to buy. Typically I'm looking for buying properties, and then when I have a project, I'm looking to sell that property within X amount of time. What I do is I go with my joint venture partners, and we find buy, fix, hold, and profit. And so typically those are 5-year processes. I've completed a number of them, and the idea is to more than a number, a whole bunch. And the idea is, when you have a property, to know where you can go and network, and where you can go and you can share your information and share your marketing along with your other professionals, so that you can move the property. For instance, I do rent-to-owns. So I have a rent-to-own website. I've got a purchase outright website. I got a down payment provided website. And what I do is I drive traffic, and then what I do is I sift and I sort. There's some other great educators and trainers in the real estate industry and in the business industry. You can learn a lot from them. And the idea here is there's so much opportunity in the real estate industry in this particular niche, and who you can work with for opportunity. All these people have money. All these people have jobs. All of them want to get ahead. All of them know that real estate is the way to go. They're all involved in real estate. They're looking for the good numbers. They're looking for someone who's going to manage it well, and they're looking for trust. And so your job, if you're building your own network to go and buy deals, is to build this network, build this solid foundation and base. And hopefully you have good joint venture partners that understand humanity and understand there's ups and downs and everything. There's a lot of things in real estate that I never took into account when I first started buying and selling my own real estate. Now there's a complete personality with every single deal, in the sense that you have a unique joint venture partner. Sometimes I have 2 or 3 joint venture partners. If you don't know the structure of a deal, or what I do is I'm the deal maker. So I go out and I find a deal, and what I do is I do my best to make the deal the best for both the seller, the joint venture partner seller, and the joint venture partner buyer. And I'm always bought in on the deal. So I'm in, I bought in, I negotiated it, I put money down, I have my lawyer, my notary involved. Then what we do is we decide, this is just my model. This is how I purchase deals. And I bring joint venture partners in. Sometimes joint venture partners come in with cash. Typically they always do. Sometimes they come in with credit. Typically they always do. And sometimes they come in with property. But sometimes they come in with expertise as well. I don't mind the expertise as long as they know how to put everything together and we can work in it together. I did a really successful rent-to-own last year, I believe it was sometime. And that was simply sending out a message that was local. It just came out of the blue. It took us, I think, about 3 weeks to complete that deal. I made one phone call to another joint venture member, and they said yeah. And then what they did is we did a joint venture together, and we decided to share on the profits on that. There's about 5 people involved in the deal, and it was a win-win-win. Everyone knew how to do it. This is what we're looking for. We're looking for people that are willing to share. This information is not typically shared. So when you have a deal, most people think as a seller, you just have to go use a real estate agent. Some sellers actually go and do for sale by owner, but we know that about 80 to 90% of activity happens on the MLS. So the idea is getting your marketing out there. And if you're not good at sales or marketing, and that happens to be what my business is, then what you're doing is you're giving your commissions away, which is fine. That's not a big deal. But if you're a savvy seller, then you'll make a deal with me, because I want to buy your property and I know how to save money. I have real estate agents as well, by the way. So if there's a real estate agent involved, I use my real estate agent and I just make sure that everyone gets paid. For me, I do a couple of things when I have a deal. I do what's called a seller's rights. So I have the right to go and find a buyer for sale by owner at the same time it's listed on MLS, and I agree and negotiate the commission that's going to happen. So if they're doing marketing, I want to see the expense for the marketing and so on. If they're not doing the marketing and I do all the marketing, then I make the money. So it's kind of a race to the finish. I like doing that with the people that I work with, and it gives the real estate agent an incentive to go out and actually make a sale happen before I do. And then there's, of course, these are all the people that we have to work with. These are all third-party people. They all have their own licenses. They all have their own agencies. And then what we have is I'm typically a buyer and a seller. And so this is an example of how a real estate deal works and who's involved in the network, because it is a network. You need to have a mortgage broker. You need to have a bank. You need to have a relationship with your real estate agent. And there's a lot of work and a lot of thinking that has to happen in doing real estate. And so the idea here is to understand your niche and to understand where you can go and you can buy a deal, and what you want to do moving forward in real estate. Do you have a property you want to sell? Do you want to sell for sale by owner? Do you have a real estate agent? Are you willing to do creative deals? Are you willing to do vendor financing for a higher rate? Are you willing to do personalized mortgages? Are you willing to do second mortgages? Are you willing to do profit sharings? What are you willing to do in real estate? There's so many different sub niches. I think we calculated, myself and one of our other colleagues that does presentations, about over 40 different real estate niches. That's in another video. So most likely your JV partners purchase the products and services from appliance companies, suppliers, windows and screens and doors companies. Probably it's the owners of these, most likely. Utility companies, electrical power and green energy companies, insurance, financial. All these people know that real estate is one vehicle to put your money. The other vehicle to put your money is in business. So if you're able to put your business, because business is one of the most, you can put a dollar in marketing in business and you can make $10. In real estate's a really nice place to park your cash. And just as you're getting the mortgage paid down, as property prices slowly gain, and we know that they are slowly gaining, even at 1 or 2%, this is good news. Everybody knows that real estate maintains, or if not exceeds, the value over time. Over 25 years, if you put a small 5, 10, 15, 20% down payment, over 25 years you've paid that off to zero. That's an asset that you have. That's an asset making you cash flow. And so what your job now is to see how can your business afford you the ability to buy cash flow. Kind of like what McDonald's has done. They have someone put in $1 million minimum on buying a McDonald's, and then what they do is they own that land and they lease it for 5 years. And then that lease, they can renew that lease with that particular franchisee or licensee, or they can have another licensee come in, or they can take it themselves. There's so many options that McDonald's has, but they own that land. It's valuable land. So they own the brand, right? So the idea is that there are so many people that out there to do joint ventures with. All you really need is you need a group of individuals that want to be involved in something like the Real Estate Joint Venture Club, that are willing to watch these videos along with you. You want to set some goals, add 5 people to your joint venture network each month, or just 5 people in general that you want to go and look at a deal with. Make sure your financing binders are done. The JV Club goes through all the process of you sharing your financing binders. You need to know what your line 150 is. That's what your taxable income is. You want to know what your assets are. That's really important also. You want to know, basically, you want to see what kind of experience is the person bringing to the table. Are they an engineer? Are they a lawyer? Are they the bank? What's happening in the scenario? So set a goal to add 1 joint venture property to your portfolio every 6 months. And if you follow, one of my colleagues is going to be doing 5 years to $1 million starting with 0. And you follow that, that's just basically getting 5 properties and using the first property and the first property to pay, and the second property to pay off the first, and the third to pay the first, and the fourth to pay the first, and the fifth to pay the first. And then eventually that's paid down quicker. And so it's the amount of time that you're able to pay that down goes down substantially, and you're able to re-leverage and finance. There's so many great things with real estate, guys. I get excited about it. So set a goal to do any kind of real estate deal. If it's just getting involved with a joint venture, understanding the joint venture agreements, if it's even just doing an assignment deal. I have assignment deals. I have some properties right now where you can come in, you can find the paperwork, go through the entire process, and learn how to implement the real estate plan for your own self, for your own business. Where do you want to be? What is it that you want to create? So joint ventures are about common sense. So joint venture real estate is about who helps, where, and when. It truly is. You have a financial manager, you have a person who put the money down, you have a person who puts the mortgage payments down, you have the potential of cash calls and cash flow. You have the potential of renovations and plumbing and the kind of heating systems and walls and repairs, before and after tenancy, move in and move out inspections, security deposits, rental increases. Oh, there is a ton of management in the real estate business, and I want you to know what that is so that when you get into it, you're prepared. Kind of like all training is supposed to do, or all practice is supposed to do, is get you prepared for doing the real thing. And that's exactly what this joint venture club is all about. The idea is to get a seller working with a buyer, and they're both educated. So there's going to be a number. My goal is for you guys to get the Word documents of those packages, And if you don't know what this is, we have what's called a presentation package that's put together for pretty much every single deal. And I like them to look a certain way so that when we send it out to you guys, it's easier for you to just fill out the document or fill out what's called a response form, and that response form goes to the owner, and that owner is able to follow up with you. And basically you're able to do a joint venture. So when a joint venture comes up and you know how to present it and how to share it, it becomes a win-win-win for all parties. The idea is to really, I'm going to be pointing out a lot of information as we go on. So great examples of smart joint venture marketing. Here's an example. 3 joint venture partners partner up to buy a condo. Actually, right now I've got 1 condo tied up, and I'm looking for a 3rd joint venture partner to come in, and the joint venture is already set up. Everything's already put on title, and I'm going to show all that information. You're going to get the condo minutes. You're going to get all the documents necessary, everything that you need in order to move forward and to understand what this process is. You're going to want to start somewhere. 3 joint venture partners then go and buy a 2nd property. I had a number of joint venture partners come and buy 3, 4, or 5 properties. This is great. This is exactly what we want. Now the properties are in their last phase. We're ready to put rent-to-own buyers in there. We've got all the marketing done up. I've done all the education necessary. Now we're sorting and sifting. Got to get that out there. So 13 joint venture partners team up to buy 10, 11, 12, 13 properties. Maybe an apartment building. I've done that. Maybe a number of joint venture partners, 7 of them get together to buy a number of different lots. And what we do is we build them all out and we sell them. How about 14 joint venture partners purchase 6 properties? So the idea is that joint ventures can be done, joint ventures can be done, and it's making sure that we have the necessary joint venture partners in play. When you get above 3 or 4 people, though, it gets a little bit complicated, because then you're dealing with business, you're dealing with boards, you're dealing with directors, you're dealing with potential syndicates, you're dealing with it gets more complicated, but it's definitely doable. And you have to make sure that you have a budget for the legal, because if you gotta, there's no way you can get around spending money on legal aspect when it comes to real estate. You got to just realize that you're gonna have to pay for it. So you either pay for it before the deal and get prepared, or you pay for it after the deal and you learn. And paying for it before the deal is probably one of the best ways to go and do that. Doing a deal with a joint venture partner that knows what he's doing and is able to say, hey, ask your lawyer this or ask your lawyer that. That's also very important, because that saves you a lot of money. The less amount of time your lawyer has to explain to you and that you can explain to them that you understand, the better. Joint ventures that I go through typically are we go through about 2 to 3 hours. We go through one joint venture, and it's been evolving over time. So that'll be another presentation. So how to approach a soon-to-be joint venture partner. So you can approach kind of like this. You just keep it simple. You want to show them the value or the money. And the money and the value here is you're going to be able to take this, have a kind of an understanding of what a joint venture is and how you can use it. And again, the idea is I've shared some really good gems. One of the gems is getting on the JV Club and getting your financing binder information, and going to a mortgage broker and seeing how financeable you are, and then finding out from the people around you that are also of like mind, that want to get involved in real estate, how serious they are. Are they willing to do the same things you are? That's important. Are they willing to lead by example, just as you are leading by example? Not just to talk about it, but to go and do it. Are you willing to do the research ahead of time? All of this is very important. The people who you work with, what kind of deals are you willing to do? What's your niche? Maybe you're going to find a trainer like the JV Club you're going to join. The JV Club has helped so many people understand the simple facts and basics of real estate, and they go out and they buy real estate internationally just with these simple principles. The idea is that you know how to protect yourself, and it's all written down on a piece of paper. If it's not written, it's simply not real. So let's continue on. We want to talk about low risk and insightful education. This is what this is. It's really no risk other than you're spending a bit of your 25 minutes of your time listening about joint ventures. You want to talk about security and confidence. The joint venture goes through all of this. Everything we go through in the JV Club is always about setting you up getting you prepared, getting you ready, making sure your financing binder, your finances, where you fit within your goals of buying real estate and how long. Maybe it's you just want to buy your own property. We have a JV Club member that went and optioned an RV park, and no money down, just optioned it. Now he's managing the RV park, and he's made an arrangements with full financing from the owner for, I think, 5 to 10 years, because they just simply wanted to retire. Guys, there's so much opportunity out there. There really is so much opportunity that that sometimes it's like water. When water goes into your hands, it just kind of overfills your hands. So it's truly, the team matters. The people you're working with matter. I simply say that you got to work with your own legal professional, let them guide you, and you're ready to go. So, how to calm your minds. The website has a lot of valuable information. So what you can say to your potential joint venture partners is, hey, I'm involved in this real estate joint venture club. Come and watch this video with me. It's about a 20-25 minute video. Let's have a beer together. Let's get some ideas about real estate. Because you're going to go to a presentation, you're going to probably be upsold some kind of package or some kind of education. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying that that's a great place to go and network with like-minded people who want to also do real estate. And what they do is they get you in their coaching programs, they get you to buy their courses, and that's great if you're able to do networking, able to make a list, and able to do business with those people again sometime in the future. That's fantastic. But this is a resource right here that I'm offering, which is pretty much for free. And because when I was asking my advisor said, yeah, you got to let everybody know that you're interested in doing real estate deals. And I am interested in doing real estate deals. I'm interested in doing one with you. And so the sooner that you are educated, the better it is for both of us. And it is for your future joint venture partners as well. So we talked about getting your professionals and advisors to help you out. And then what we do is we walk through a deal and we just repeat. So here's an example of attitude. This is about goal setting. After 20 years through Harvard education, through a study that Harvard did, over 20 years, they recognized that only 3% of graduates had written goals, that 13% had unwritten goals, and 84% had no specific goals. And after this 20-year research was completed, they found that the 13% was earning twice as much who had than the 84% who had no specific goals, the ones who had unwritten goals. So earning twice as much, which is great. The 3% were earning 10 times more as the 97% because they had their written goals. So if your goal is to do real estate with joint ventures, and to understand how real estate can work in this way for yourself, not only now, but in the future, to creating a portfolio, and how you can take a joint venture and at any time that joint venture is liquid. You can sell off your interest in that joint venture because it's valuable. It's an actual asset. It's registered. This is very real. It's not something fake. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful business, and I'm hoping that you guys will begin to understand a lot more about the joint venture, the real estate joint venture, or the business of joint ventures. So we have a real estate mastermind where I'm inviting you, if you're interested in this joint venture mastermind, to come and let's see where you're at. If we can work together, for one thing, let's develop some relationships. Let's see if we can add value. We're doing both online and offline, and then let's take action and simply do a deal. I back in the early days, I got the gist of doing real estate, and I said, let's go do it. And so we went and we did it, and we flipped 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it has just kept on going. So more tips. Be the kind of person that you wish to have as a partner. I am. Some of the things I didn't do in my early joint venture days is talk to my joint venture partners as consistently or frequently as I could have. I took the responsibility of the financial manager. I would have given the financial manager role to both parties, if not to the party that actually is getting the mortgage, because and very often I would put the down payment down, so I'd have them manage. So there's a lot of things that I would do differently, but really the kind of person I would want as a joint venture partner is myself. I know the job will get done, and I'm looking for other people that know the job can get done when they touch something. So ask questions, get clarity, make contact by phone whenever possible, decide on the objectives and respective roles, formalize an agreement. There's joint venture agreements that you can formalize. Otherwise, all you're doing is sharing ideas. You might as well just watch a bunch of these videos and implement everything I'm recommending. Just write it down and go talk to a lawyer and go talk about this agreement and go talk about that and make it happen. Keep up to date with your financial records. It's really important. It should be done on a weekly basis, your bookkeeping, and definitely on a monthly basis. When you get your monthly bookkeeping from the bank, you sit down and you write down everything that went out for what it's for, everything that came in what it's for. You staple the invoices and the receipts on the back of that, and then you have it ready to go at the end of the year to your bookkeeper. If you're doing that already, you're already on your way to having a very successful real estate business. The understanding that bookkeeping and accounting are two separate realities is really important for you to understand, and the difference between keeping two sets of records. So what I mean by that is that if you have a property, you manage the property ideally out of one bank account. There's been some properties where I collect all the properties that are under my management, and what I do is I have a kind of like a mini my own funding pool. So I fund it myself for whatever has to happen, for ever repairs and so on. And what the idea is that's a lot of that's simply just quite a bit of management. And so the idea was for me to make sure that the bookkeeping was done every single month and out and ready to go. In my joint venture agreements, I said that I don't get that out until the yearly taxes. So that's really good. It's been if you're able to get the bookkeeping and accounting aspect in real estate, you're ahead of the game as an entrepreneur. You're just as a joint venture partner. That's what I want to see. Someone who's able to manage just their simple bookkeeping. Be honest and open with all your business transactions. Get it in writing and use the pros. It's important. When it comes to joint ventures, it's important to think long term. That's how joint ventures achieve real success. So I like thinking that this is not my first deal. We're going to be doing many more deals. Do your homework. Find out about the area. We do a lot of that information for you. You just have to double check it. So make the joint venture an important part of your overall business model and portfolio. What it does is it allows you at any point in your business to go out and do business. If you've spent 1 year or 2 years or 3 years learning just how to do real estate, and you gave business to your joint venture partners that had money and mortgage, and you went and did all the front end legwork and you got paid for that as a joint venture partner, it makes sense to do that. That's an ownership in property, and that would be considered sweat equity or the know-how to go out and do it. There's a lot of professionals that just can't do that, or don't have the time. There's a lot of people that don't want to do the management of it, the everyday running of an apartment building, for instance. We've got a bookkeeper that manages that, and we've got a caretaker that manages all of the move-ins and move-outs, and we've got a handyman, and we've got plumbers, and we've got electrical, and all the things that go into running 1 or 40 properties. It's the exact same. The idea is, how can you have the most success in any deal? So that's the Real Estate Joint Venture Club, and what I'm going to ask you to do is join our Joint Venture Club. We have monthly meetings. We have buying and selling properties, how to do real estate business, how to do any business really, rent to own, seller financing, sandwich leases, rent to owns, down payment provided, paying the lowest mortgages, talking to your mortgage brokers and your banks, developing those relationships. You need your own relationship with your own banks. You need your own relationships with everybody, actually. And we're developing our relationship to do business together. So we do a financing binder presentation, and kind of outlines what you need to do to get your financing binder prepared for your joint venture partner and your mortgage broker and whoever else needs it. We have monthly training seminars. There's tons. There's 3 to 6 hour workshops. I talked about the mastermind groups earlier as well. We talked about deals being done for you, and it's basically all free. There is a $9.99 option. There's extra bonuses that you get on the other side for $9.99. I send out deals to you before anyone else, and actually I just sent a deal out to everybody, and there's another deal going to be sending out, and I don't send that out to the general membership until a week or two after, because I want to make sure that the people that are contributing, donating, it's a token to keep the website going, and it's a business in itself. I treat them, I clearly want to treat them better, anyone who donates the $9.99 for the membership. If you're just interested in doing deals and learning more, sign up for free. You get on the mailing list, and I send out this information to you, and it's always valuable. So I look forward to talking to you in person. Thanks so much for spending this last 30 minutes with me. Take care.